Okay. Okay, so when I do paintings, I don't necessarily think I'm going to teach them. And so I need to just really pay attention as to what I do and how I do it. But I just wanted to have some fun, and that's all I did with this yesterday. And but I thought, well, I want to have that. I mean, it wasn't too awfully hard or bad. I think it would be good. So so anyway, what I do is I actually just wet my canvas down, and I did the background, of course, first. And now I know there are fireflies, and then I mean we call them lightning bugs in the South. Most people call them fireflies out in England and the western part of the United States, I guess. But and most usually I've looked at paintings before and all I see is these little white spots, or little white wing things. A lightning bug doesn't have white wings. It's got like a little black head and it's got like a reddish looking little thing right behind its head. And then it's got black wings.
Hmm.
But I did actually like lighten them up a little bit. And then of course it's got its little yellow body uh, that creates the light. So I
Hmm.
did the black and the red, and so I don't know whether you can see that or not.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. And
Yeah,
so
I can see it. Pull it up close.
okay. So now is that too close? Is that too far away?
Oh no, I put you on speaker mode so I can have it nice and big.
Okay, okay, good. Okay. So basically, and I did like most of the background and stuff. I did the whole basically the other than the trees and stuff, I just did all the background with a like a mop brush. Now I'm on a different kind. I wish I would have just got a regular canvas, but because this is like canvas paper, and
Mhm.
sometimes it doesn't still doesn't want to act right, but I'm going to try it. So I went into water with a mop brush, um, and I just sort of dipped it really quick, and then I blotted it off, and then I'm going to just come over here and wet my canvas just to see if I can't get that paint to go smoother. Of course, these are not primed. These are just like it's just a tablet of
Mhm.
art paper or art canvases.
Okay.
And I do this, I've been doing them on this just so that I don't have 100. Well, I do have hundreds of canvases, but this way I don't have two canvases always of the same things.
Mhm.
So what I've done is I actually took white right in the middle, and I just loaded my brush up really, really good with that. And I just started going around in a circle right here, right in the middle. And now I did notice, like, of course, the humidity is horrible here. We're getting thunder. I don't know if you've heard it a few minutes ago. And then the sun is shining. So it's just,
Mhm.
we've had rain for the last week, just about.
We have to.
Uh, I mean, my garden is well, I said my garden is loving it. It was until yesterday. And I think we've got so much, it's like, uh, they're so waterlogged. My plants are. I think that they're starting to get droopy on me. I'm like, please, I surrender. Don't baptize me no more. Okay, so I just basically did like a circle here, and I know it's you can see just a little bit with the light, but
Yeah.
I'm going to go right here still with white, and then I'm going to get into this blue. And I actually, I want to get that. And I also picked up just a little bit of black because I want that sort of I do want it blue, but I want it like a bluish gray. And so I just went right around here where I did the white, and I'm going to just like really rub that in. Now again, this canvas doesn't want. I'll probably have to go into some. some medium with it because this canvas just don't want to do the same thing. And just keep going over here and picking up. I'm mixing some black with it. And actually, I think I'm going to go ahead. I will do this white again right in here because it just doesn't look right. Then I'm going to just keep going around and around to where I can get all the background done. Now I say that. Now right here, if you notice, I do have a aisleway, but I can do that once I get all of the background done. I'm just going to keep going around and around here. Like I said, it's so dry that I'm having to pick up a lot of floating medium with this. And I don't like it necessarily that dark, but I'll just have to keep lightening it up. Really trying to fill that in. Need some more floating medium. And I could have went into water with this too, but I don't necessarily like going into water a lot with the acrylics, especially on, like I said, this is a type of, I mean, it's canvas, but it's really more of a, it's got more of a tooth, I think, than just a regular primed canvas. And it just doesn't want to take the paint as well. More like it wants to soak in more. Okay, I'm just going to keep going around until I get all this blended in. And then once I get it on there, I will definitely blend it. Right now, it looks like a mess, so. And I didn't really want I mean, I wanted it to be like, a summer evening, but I didn't want it to be so dark that you couldn't see really like what was going on. Like, usually they come out right before it gets really dark. And man, we had times when we were little catching lightning bugs and
We call them lamplighters.
lamplight. That's sweet. I think someone used to say they're happy tails. Yeah, little happy tails with the lights on them. Okay. So now while this is still very wet, I'm actually going to get rid of this brush. And I'm going to, now if you only have one, then we'll just clean it really good. And then I'm going to pick me up a dry one. And then while this is still wet, I'm really going to I'm going to pick up some white actually. Right in here, I'm going to pick up some white and try to get that all blended and maybe some floating medium just to get that all blended out. I'm also going to go right in here and just do like little almost like little swipes back and forth. And then hopefully I'm gonna blend that out too. And I'm having to really like do this hard just
Mhm.
because, like I said, this is not when you're using like primed canvas, everything
Mhm.
goes really smooth and almost like it sits on top of the canvas. But this is the type of canvas that it's not necessarily primed to where, like I said, it's just got a tooth to it. It like catches almost like the paint sucks completely down in it. So I'm gonna really mix that in. And I'm sorry, I got that right in the way. Okay, let's see what we're doing. I don't need that. And so I will probably move this just a little bit. And I may pick up some a little bit more of that blue. And we'll just right through here, make that almost make like a pathway. And I did it more of like a grayish. Guess I could do that too. I'm just going to go over here in a little bit of the black outside of it. I still have that blue in my, and I'm going back and forth, just sort of twisting that brush as we go. And once I do that, I'm just going to start packing this stuff back in again and then turn it, spin it, just to lighten it up right around the center here, like right in here. I want it so lightened up a little bit. And then what I did is I just went ahead and I just picked up some white and some blue, and really, again, I just mixed up a different values of like a bluish gray. And while this was here, which is still pretty, this one's going to be a little bit darker than this blue. Um, I might just go back around that. Let's see. I'm just going to dull that just the slightest little bit, although I really like that blue, but around and around in circles again. And like I said, my paint right now, it doesn't even want to move on this. So I know that it's a combination of the canvas and the humidity.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, I picked up yellow. That's not good. It may be wet, dry enough. I could just pick it up. I can. Thank you, Lord. Like I said, it sort of doesn't soak in. It doesn't lay on top of it. And sometimes if you can catch it early, it'll work. Get it. Okay, so let me go back over here. I'm just picking me up a little bit more of that gray color, that sort of like I did with in the center. And since I picked up a little tiny bit of that yellow, I might just smear it around here some. That way it doesn't look like a mistake. Mhm. So I worked quite a bit on this background just to try to, I don't know, I just wanted it, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up some more just blue. I'm gonna mix me that gray again, but it's just a darker, I'm just doing like a darker blue is all I'm doing, not necessarily black. And normally where we would use our scruffy for this, I just went ahead since we had these and they make good. I'm just going to pat that to where it looks like it looks like foliage.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go right here in the like toward the center too, to where you can see it and just turn it different ways to where it'll. Then I'll put in some trees and I sort of did it, just in the opening here where you can definitely see it. And it can be darker or different like values if you, I wanted it, especially here in the center, I wanted more light in it because that's where the light's at. But as it goes back further, you could do darker values with it. I'll put just a little bit of, just a little bit right in here. That's a little bit lighter. All I'm doing is just going and sort of picking up some white to go on that, and then going back over with the same brush, but I had some of it on one side and some of it on the other. And I did that sort of all the way through to guide, like to line this path. Right here, I actually went really, really dark. But right here at the path, I went a little bit lighter. And when my brush starts really, really getting goofed up to where it doesn't even want to do anything, a lot of times still, instead of going into water, because these are mop brushes, I just try to get as much paint as I can out on a paper towel. And then it's like, and I can start all over again. But a lot of times when it gets really loaded like that, it just wants to lay down and surrender. It's like I don't want to do anything else. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit more through here. Like I said, it's further away it gets, then the darker the foliage and stuff is going to be. So I'm going to start picking up actually quite a bit of black through here, black and blue. I've just got black, but it's much, much darker. A little bit like that there. I think that's all I'm gonna do for right now until I put in all of my, but I can do some more just randomly up to here. Again, all this is going to be covered with trees. You're not going to be able to see a whole lot of it. That way it's like it's too light, too black. I don't really want it like so black you can't like see the detail of it. And I don't want it that white. So added some more blue. That seems to help. And it's really just a light touch, and I'm really putting a lot of pressure on there. I like that blue a lot better than I do that black. So I'm just going right back over top of that black to sort of just let that be a shadow rather than the actual foliage. I'm just gonna, again, I'm just sort of going all the way through there. All of this is going to be covered up. I do have a stand of trees over here. If you see, that sort of is the sky. So I went down so far and then I stopped. I did sort of the same thing here. So just down so far and then I stopped. And then, like I said, once I got the trees in, then I went back and sort of covered up the bottoms of the trunks and stuff. So right now I'm gonna get rid of that brush, and I'm gonna pick up a large flat brush. Where are you at, Miss Gloria? Have I totally just run off and left you?
Oh, I'm putting in my little shadows.
Oh, good, very good. Okay, so now on this, I'm sort of doing, I did some of the same colors. I did blue and black and white. I didn't just do black, so that I just basically made a gray. And I used different, I did more of the black over on this side, just because I wanted more of the focus to be on this side. This is sort of just muted colors. And so I basically picked up black and blue and white, and I just mixed them. I don't know if you can see that, and I'm right there in that same puddle. So even my white is sort of making a gray in that puddle that I had right in the middle. And I'm just really going to load that good. So I've got white, and on this side I got blue and black. And that's giving me my shading and my highlight sort of at the same time. And I may go into, I just went straight up and down into some floating medium on that. Now, on this side, I started, I don't know, about maybe a couple inches up. And I just start, I'm on that sharp chisel edge, and I'm just putting pressure all the way up. And these are not going to be, I need to just continue to get floating medium out of that. Now, these are not going to be very, you're going to have it covered up, some of them. So, and they're in the back, so they're not that detailed. So I sort of just staggered them. I have a big one down here. Then I'm picking up black and white and blue. And yeah, I got like a big main one right here. And I'm just really putting pressure on that brush. And then I turn it as I go up to get it to go to get it on that chisel edge, really. Go all the way up with it. And come right back down on itself too. Okay. Now more in the background. I'm just doing, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on that just to make some tinier trees. Can you see that, Gloria? Can you see what I'm doing? I know that reflection.
I can see.
Okay, I just want to make for sure. Okay. And so right here, I'm just making some more skinnier little trees, more in the background. And I want them, some of them to, like to lean over in this main uh, area here. But once I do that, I'm still going to make some larger ones here. Sort of goes right up in the middle of that. You know, and they can go completely off of the canvas, which is sort of what I've done here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now on this one, on this side, I've done more black than really I did over here, just because I'm going to really bring attention to this. I want this to be the focal point. So I did a lot of just black trees, but I started the same way. I just come up here and made like thinner trees. And some of it, I just went ahead and put some of the limbs and we'll do that here too. I should have done it. I'm just going to go ahead and make some of the limbs right here. I've got that on that sharp chisel edge. And some of the branches here. I'm actually going to take that one completely off the canvas. And that's just, I've got that sharp chisel edge, and I'm just barely sort of skirting that along there just to make some of the branches randomly different lengths. Okay, I'm going to do this the same way. I'll just put them in there and see how many I need. Okay. I got a big one here, a bigger trunk. I'm just randomly going in different directions with it. I'm making some real small little limbs here too off of these bigger limbs or branches. Let's see, I've got one more right here. I'm having to use all kinds of medium to get that to go the way I want it to go. I think I got one more like bigger one right here. And like I said, I've pretty well covered this up, so I'm not really worried about wanting to sort of push those others back a little bit. And you can put as many lambs as you want to on it. And then down here, once I got those in there, well, this one right here just doesn't look good. I'm actually gonna maybe do some more right to here. Maybe another one right to here. Okay. Backside of I almost messed up again. I picked that yellow right up off of there. I'm going at the side of this tree because my brush sort of drug and it just left like a rough area there. Now what we can do too is this, I'm picking up just a little bit of blue, maybe just a tiny, tiny little bit of white. And just where this light is right through here, we could come right here on these trees and put just a little bit of highlight. But if you noticed, I went ahead and put, I have a bunch of like the reflection of the light coming off of them too, so. Just right there here, maybe just lighten them up a little bit. I'm just barely, I've still got a gray, it's not necessarily a white. Okay. Let's see what I want. Okay, I think I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna make this just a little grayer, maybe even just a little bit. Have that path just a little bit wider. Which this is supposed to be the same kind of size canvas, but it always seems a little larger to me. I want to touch it up just a little bit. Okay. Now I'm gonna clean this brush really good. And I actually put my rays in here before I done any of the other stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Cleaning this brush really good. Now, when I made these rays, I just barely got on the tip of my brush. Am I way ahead of you, Miss Gloria?
No.
Okay, good. And I do have some floating medium, just I'm really just trying to get as much of that. I went into white, but I don't want that really, really loaded, like down, like thick through my brush. And what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm just going to skirt that over here. I'm just barely touching that canvas all the way down. And when it looks like white, I don't necessarily like that. I'm going to turn it to the side. Let me get me some floating medium, see if it helps. It doesn't seem to want to. That's a very, very light touch. I want it to come all the way down here. Especially here in the center. I'm going to start turning that on its side, or like straight up and down like this. And it's a very light touch and a quick touch. And if it's too thick, which it seems to be, I don't like that. What we do is I'm just going to wipe off some of it. Don't want that. Don't want it that thick. That translates it. I'm having to really like move that quick, move that paint around so that it doesn't get, so that it is translucent rather than just all globbed up there. So I'm just barely rubbing over that.
Now that's just plain white with water.
Yeah, well, I don't have water. I've got floating medium, but if your canvas, because sometimes the water will lift up what you did. I've got,
Mhm.
but yeah, if you have to use water to thin that paint down, that's fine, but you just want to make sure that your brush is pretty dry. And if you go into water a little bit, maybe just tap it like this and then go to your canvas.
Now would the glazing liquid do?
Yes, yeah, that's pretty much, yeah,
Because I have that. Mhm.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it's basically the same thing. Um, which I know you glaze stuff to um, keep it protected too. So I don't know whether that's actually a finish or
Yeah, mine just says gloss glazing liquid. And I thought I bought some floating medium, but I don't know what I did with it.
well, welcome to my life. I went through I had a bunch of paint in this kitchen and stuff because that's where I do all of my stuff, and when I went to move everything, I thought, Lord gosh, why in the world I keep buying paint? I have no clue because I can't find that's usually why I buy it because I can't find what I bought.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's sort of sad. So I'm just going to do just a little bit more and then I'm actually going to quit on that part for right now because I still don't have all the rest of the stuff down here. And why I've got that in my brush again, I'm going to just make that path just a little bit clear because I just want this. Of course, those are supposed to go straight down. And almost like the water sometimes, like if this was not too awfully wet. Remember how we sort of get the reflections sometimes in the water? When you bring it down, you could go to the side as well. Only if it's not very wet. And it'll
Yeah.
just sort of blur that a little bit. And that's all really you want. Just really blur those lines. Okay. So I'm pretty well done with that brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up, like I said, I'm having you use a lot of mop brushes this time. You could do this with the dauber and stuff too, though. We realize that we can make a lot of foliage and stuff with the daubers. And I've got that too. So if it makes it easier for you, if you don't have, like I bought these brushes. I'm thinking I bought them from Temu and when I was shopping for Temu, I'm not doing that no more. But I bought like I think five of these are makeup brushes.
Oh,
And I bought like five of them for like 13 or $14. And they are exactly what I needed. I like them very, very much. I've got one great big old fat one right here. Look what a fat one I got. And I mean, it really extends over there. I should
all over.
put that on there. But I mean, for like 13, $14. And usually if you really pay attention, I don't know if you guys have got a Ollie's or anything like that. Ollie's has got makeup brushes really cheap. They sell them in a kit. And Walmart at Christmas time, they do them for stocking stuffers. They'll have like 4 or 5 um, makeup brushes in a
Hmm.
in a container. And so you can really get them, cheap that way. And that's basically all I use. I don't use I mean, I call it a mop brush, but that's really what it is. It's the same thing. So I'm going to use the smaller one and I'm going to come back over here now that I got all of this in and I'm going to put me some foliage down right here at the roots of these trees. And I'm using the same colors. I'm using blue and black, and I am using a little bit of white to make it more of a gray rather than I don't want it necessarily blue and I don't want it black. And I don't care to have it mixed. Like if you notice right here, you can actually see some blue through there. And I like that. But I just didn't want it so bright that it's just overcome everything. So I'm going to go right in here and do exactly the same thing and really just go like edging that path as well. I'm covering up these trees a little bit, going right up in there. And even up here, after I got the branches and limbs and stuff in, now I'm doing this very lightly, but I'm just adding a little bit of foliage up here as well, like right over the tops of those trees. And they could come down just a little bit. So you've not even been painting with what's her name? She's so sweet. Keeping it
It,
colorful.
no, I think I probably within the last 2 months, I probably did maybe 3 paintings with her.
Mm.
With, she do them every Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, I've been seeing her. I actually did paint along with her one time. Um, she did two little kitties, and it was so cute. They were sitting like at a
In the window?
yes, I did those. I did those
Yeah,
paintings.
I did that one too. But I didn't put the kitties in my window. I put some flowers.
The only reason I did is because I wanted to learn how to paint kitties. And then of course last month my paint class was on a kitten. And
Mm.
and I absolutely enjoyed that because I've got a crazy cat. I've got a crazy cat, and so she,
Yeah, I was going to do it because one of the ladies in my daughter's group at church, she adopted a cat
yeah,
and so I put the kitten in there for her and painted for her.
yes.
But
Well,
I didn't get it when she did, so I ended up putting some flowers in.
yeah. Let me see if I,
Needless to say, she's not going to get that one.
yeah.
But that'll probably be one of the ones I take to the church in
Well,
October.
yeah, like I said last month, then I did a painting class on a cat, and
Hmm.
and um,
Yeah, because I didn't paint you last month. Mhm.
yeah, I've been missing you. It's been like a couple months, and
But
but
yeah, at the times, yeah, the times were just not good for me. So,
yeah, I understand that.
and Purnell's eye appointment is usually on Fridays,
Yeah,
but we don't go back until June. I think it's like the 16th, or it's either the second or the third Friday in June.
yeah.
So,
Well, I understand that. Like I said, when I come in here today, I was on two wheels because I had been in a meeting in Pedro land since 9 o'clock this morning, didn't get off until right at 12. And then I had another meeting at 12 and I left it early so that I
mm,
could do this painting class. And normally I never do it this late. I usually do them early, like from 10 to
yeah,
12.
yeah, yeah.
But I just, I thought, well, I'd rather just go ahead and get it later than not do one at all. And so, okay, so I'm cleaning this brush really good. And now I know we put a lot of paint on here, and right to here, it's still, like I said, I just got done doing that, so it'll probably be pretty wet. But what I will do in the meantime, I might just pat some of it off to make for sure. And if you got a hair dryer, which I have one, but I just didn't bring it, and
Mhm.
I think this will be fine though. Um, okay, they're soaked pretty well. Right through here is a little bit damp. But okay, so chalk. Don't you know I put my clock, put that light right on that clock, or right on that chalk. Ah, there we go. Now I just did this with chalk to draw that, uh, to draw this lantern in. Um, let me get me I'm gonna get a sheet of paper too and show you, because I know these are tiny, tiny, and it's hard for you to see. I'm gonna show you how I done those. I should have gone ahead and done that. Okay. I just used my little script liner. If you have a little tiny flat brush, you could probably do the same. My script liner, my favorite one, is starting to get kind of lay down on me. I did surgery on it yesterday because it was just getting all these, see all these little fine lines or threads is,
Hanging over.
yes, and it starts to, um, but basically I just used the script liner and I just did a black, like a little black dot. See if I can get this up here closer to where you can see what I'm doing. I did a little black dot Then I come and I did a red dot right behind him. That's like his head, and that's part of his body. And then get rid of that. Now, if you wanted to use white, you could do white wings and maybe just outline them. But I didn't. I just come down here. See, it's going to leave a fuzzy thing there. I need to get rid of that. But I just come over here and made his wings like that. And I
Okay.
filled them in.
Okay.
Now, if we want, like I said, if you want them to be lighter, because
Hmm.
there is, I mean, like up here, I did make them a little lighter because they're in the, actually in the light, but in the jar, all you could do is just take a little bit of like white and put right up in the middle of them
So
to
show
sort of
up.
highlight it like that. And then what I done to the, all that out there. And then I just come over here, I got yellow, and I just basically did a dot. I just did around, I got black paint still in that in that brush.
Okay.
But then once I did that, I did white right on the bottom of his booty, sort of.
Okay.
And you know what would be really cute? And I've done this before on some paintings. I've done a lighthouse before, and like I had a light in the lighthouse, and
Mhm.
my husband was so sweet. You know those little tiny, little mini light sets that you can buy at any craft store. And he took the back of that painting and he put some of those lights in that lighthouse. But you
Mhm.
could do the same thing with these little lightning bugs.
Yeah.
You know, you could actually like poke little holes there and work those lights right in there to where it reflected.
Mm.
So
Oh, yeah.
anyway, that's all I did. Now some of them, I didn't do them all to where they were just flying in the same direction. Let me see, or like that. Let me show you what else I did. Some of them I just did to the side, like they were, like you could view them from the side.
I do.
Basically, I did the same thing. I took like a black dot,
Mhm.
still did the red dot, but this time I took the black and I just come over here to the side and I made just one,
Wing.
yeah, well, I actually like that.
Oh, okay.
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 And then down here, then where its body is, I still did the yellow.
Mhm.
I did it right here at where this red dot was.
Okay.
And then I took white and still come right here at the end of it.
Mhm.
Can you see? Where's it at?
At a different angle.
Yeah, it's just a different angle. And if you
Mhm.
want to do it just the reverse of that, you can. I
Mhm.
realized most of mine looked like they were flying all in the same direction, except my jar. They were straight up and down.
Uh-huh.
So, but anyway, I mean, I did me some research. I thought, now every lightning bug I remember ever catching, it was like red and white, it had red on it and or red and black. And yeah, they have like a sort of a brownish reddish place, like it's got a black head, a brownish reddish place, sort of like an armor, and then it's got its wings that comes out that are black, and they actually have little lines on them.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
so
we,
okay,
and hold them for a little bit and then let them go.
yeah.
But I thought they were like black and brown. I never really paid that much attention to them.
Yeah. And we used to try to bring them in the house, which mom would let us bring them in the house. She's, don't you dare turn them loose. And then pretty soon we'd realize, well, one got loose. We'd go to
Uh,
bed and there'd be one in the curtain, just blinky blink. But we always had a good time. We had good times.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me see if I should have done this with I'm gonna get me a pencil real quick. Now, basically on which I mean, we've done jars before, but basically I just come over here, sort of made like a rectangle, or for you to see. I still can't see, can you? Let me see if I can get it darker. Let me use my little strip liner, did black. Okay, let me get me some. Okay, so I come over here and I just sort of made like a rectangle on the top. Of course, it looks like a rectangle. And then I come to the side of that and I sort of made like a curve. And then from there, I just angled it down and brought it down. I wanted to make sure I got that angle in there though, to make it look like there's not enough paint in that brush to do it. And then I brought it flat here. It's hard to say that that's not a good idea. And then right here, I I put the bottom of the jar in. Okay. I know that's awful. I know that's awful. So, but yeah, we just want to make sure we get this like angle right to here. And then once you do, you can just bring it straight down.
Okay.
And then I made I just put some, like, for the can lid, I put
Mhm.
some grooves in there. And what I did for the bail is I come over here and I made like a little circle. And then I've started from that circle and come all the way down past where um the lid would be, sort of down on the jar, do the same thing here and let that meet. And then up here from the top of that, I did the bail.
Okay.
Okay. That's probably a horrible example. I did it in chalk. So
Well,
you
that's
did
what
it
I'm
in
gonna
chalk first. I did it in chalk and then I outlined it with the white paintbrush. Huh?
that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah, so that's what I did. But I just wanted you to see what it was I did with that. But so, and I'm going to go ahead and do that with the jar. So, and I did it fairly small just because again, I wanted it to be sort of in good perspective of what we were doing here. And
Mhm.
so I'm just going to start my bail right here, or the top of my jar. Yeah, like a rectangle. And then we'll come down. Then I'm going to curve that just a little bit. Not like that one right there. That's what I said. I don't like that because it's too skinny. Yep, this is why I use chalk. And I actually don't think I went up high enough with it. I'm going to go all the way up a little bit more. Why is it your first painting always seems to be better than all the rest of them? Have you noticed that if you've ever tried to repeat him?
Yeah. Did you never
I
get
think it was the creativity of it or something, and I don't know, but it's like your first painting seems to always be your best.
you would think the first one wouldn't be the best. The
Yeah.
last not. Mm.
But yeah, it seems like the first one's always your best.
Mm.
Okay, so there we go. That's better. And then I painted all the rest of it in there. I just basically did my outline. And I might put my little lines in here just to know pretty much where to put them. Okay. Then I used the script liner, and I hate that mine's getting all fuzzy. I've got a bunch more. I just don't know where they're at. Let me see. So can you do that one? I got one right there. Of course, when we do the script liner, we go into water with that, or I do. And I get that inky puddle right there. I'm sorry, that's my ice machine carrying on. And so I really get that good and inky. And I can see this paintbrush is the same way. It's got full of hair, full of little flyaways. I hope it'll act right. And so basically I just come over here and I just outline what I just did with that chalk right over top of it in white. Get a little bit more. Okay. Okay. And then I went right into, I actually did another, I just wanted that to look a little thicker. And so I did another, you can see I come over here and I actually done just another thicker line. And down at the bottom, so I'll do that here in a second. Just rolling that to make for sure that I've got that sharp chisel edge or that sharp point to that brush. Okay, and then from there, I went into some yellow, and some yellow, or some white and some yellow. Almost like I went right along the side of that. And right here, I just barely touched it to add that. And right along here, I actually come down with some yellow. Sort of like the reflection off of the little happy booties. And I did a little bit lighter. Just keep going back over here and doing just a little bit lighter with the white. And then down here, I actually sort of filled in with yellow. I even have a little, just one little swath through here. Okay. Now, while I've got this, I'm gonna clean it more good. And might get me some more floating medium. Because I did some yellow, like as a glow around here, but I wanted it to be very translucent. So medium is really good for that. Or your glaze, whatever it is that you got.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try it right here first. And I just went around and around in circles. If I don't have enough. Really to just get that, to make it look like the little glows from their, I'm having to, now I tell you, I mean, decide, depending on what size, if you've got a smaller dauber, right here in the center, we could have used these little daubers to do that with,
Okay.
especially if you got a smaller one. Just got to make sure I don't like overwhelm the yellow. I don't. Okay, and I put like 3 in here. And I made these fairly big so that they could actually see the details of them. So my circles down here is probably a little bigger than what it's going to be up to here. And I know that's hard, it's probably hard to see. So I did these yellow circles, and then I actually, if you notice, I actually put some white in them too. So for the bigger ones over here, though, I'm just going to go ahead and just continue to make some of the yellow circles. However many you think you're going to. And right here in the very front, because they were bigger, I made some larger ones. Probably about the size of a, so I said it probably wouldn't have been a bad size to use if you have the smaller daubers. I'm just going to do so many of them. And when I pick up way too much yellow, you can tell it. Just need to really clean that off. And that's something I found. If I pick up too much, all I have to do is go back over top of it, take a paper towel, and dry brushes will take off any wet paint if you catch it quick enough. But if you've got way too much there, you could just, let me see, maybe one more right here. And I did have one right here flying out of here, so I might just let that be it. I'm just like, again, I'm just taking that around and around in circles. Put one more right over here because I don't have any. One right here. Now, what I do, now that I got those yellows in there, I went into some white. I'm gonna go right back over top of them. That white now will cover anything. So it has to be very, very thin. And again, the medium is really good for that. And what I want you to be able to see through that color into the background. So what I'm doing is once I did that, I'm picking up that paint, but I'm taking a paper towel and I'm wiping it back off just to give that illusion of that glow is what I'm doing. And I probably have enough in these, in my brush, to go ahead and make these a little. And I'm still going into that medium, floating medium, because it makes it translucent. Okay. See how bright that got. And so I will have to wipe all that off, a bunch of it off. Some more around, and I'm making them lopsided, making them look like eggs rather than. A little bit more. I kid you not, I've got limbs falling on my house. Did you hear that? Which is not good. Where it's
No,
rained so much, I've had a lot of limbs. I live in a jungle. I mean, there's nothing but trees all the way around me, and I've had a lot of limbs to fall. I've had four trees to fall on my house since we've lived here.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, now I pick up just straight yellow, and I just come through here, and I've made well, I say that I'm gonna pick up like a real light yellow and mix white, like make a real light yellow. And then right here in the distance, I'm just gonna make some more. I also I took a toothbrush and I
Hmm.
made a bunch of the like way out in the distance to make them look like they were just smaller and smaller as they was getting away from me.
Okay.
Okay. And I could have done that probably, but not even do this much of that. But this one, I'm just randomly just putting little dots in there. Just a little bigger. I mean, you're not going to be able to tell that there's a. Okay. Now, we'll get rid of that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. What did I do with my toothbrush? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to splatter that a little bit. And I'm going to go right here in, I did both white and yellow. did yellow first. And I'm making that little inky puddle here, like on my brush. And I'm even patting it off just a little bit because I don't want it overwhelming. And I'm just going to sort of splatter that all the way through here. Where it looks like way off in the distance or just all over the place. Mhm. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the white. My thought with that was, if I use the white, because I put it on the little tails, that some of them are just brighter and you could just see them. Okay. Okay. It's probably good. And so I just did that. Now I'm going to use my little script liner again. And I'm going to create our little time is it anyway? Yep. Yep. Which we didn't get really started until late. I did not put the bail on there either. I'll do that after I do the little lightning bugs. I'm going right here with my script liner. And we do use, with the script liner, I always use water to make that inky little puddle. Okay. And I just went right here. I actually turned them to the side. I did a little circle. This one here I have straight up. And this one here I got straight up. Then I went into red. I didn't clean that brush either. It's just a little dot. And I didn't put a bunch of detail on this just because it's a book. Okay. I should have done the same thing with all of them. That way I just had them all done. I might do that. The ones that I'm going to put a bug in. Let's see, I'll put one little head here. And there. One there. And they do get tinier really as they leave us. So over here. I didn't do the one way over here. I wanted to do that. Okay, cleaning that. Doing the red. Again, it's just a little dot of red on each one of them. Right down below their head. Can't really see that red too much on that one, so.
Thank you.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go right back into that black again. This time it's sort of an inky little puddle again. And I'm doing like just a little, I'm doing sort of like just a little loop like that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Almost like a little teardrop.
Okay.
And I'm doing it on both sides. Now, if you want it longer, like if you more like this,
Hmm.
Oh, you could do that too.
Okay.
Just almost like its little wings mixed in with its head here. Hmm. Like I said, I did some to the side, like they were flying toward the light there. Clean that brush because I'm going to go into some yellow now. And I really needed to clean my water because it's as dark. Again, I'm making that little inky puddle. And right here at the end of that red, I'm making like a yellow dot. It's just a little yellow dot of paint. On the sides here. Well, I've got that loaded. I've pick up some more of that. I'm gonna make one more over here. I didn't have this very light or very dark through there. You can see. Put no wings on him. Maybe one more right here. I just don't feel like I had enough on this side. Okay. That little black head. Okay, might just go ahead. Okay. And that, go for the yellow. Okay. Then my little speck of white. I'm basically going right in that yellow. I am with the script liner, so I'm making for sure I'll wipe off the excess of that paint. Right on the very tip of that brush, I've got white paint. And I'm just sort of tipping going right inside of that yellow, almost like what we did with the draw or the glow, only it's just white going right in the middle of that yellow, just to put another little glow there. Okay. Now I'm gonna go into that black. Okay. And I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna put that circle I was telling you about. Uh-oh. I need to take it out of there because it didn't leave a hole. Make a circle where you can actually see it. This brush. I'm going right in the center of this. Remember what I told you? If the brush is dry, it'll correct anything that you got paint in. I said nothing else. Y'all learn how to correct mistakes in your paintings. Taking my classes. But that's important. It's important that you learn how to, straighten up some of the things that
go wrong. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. So you don't just want to scrap it all together.
Mhm.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna do that veil. I probably should have stayed more on the tip of that rather than go right back over here to make it a little darker. I think I am going to, I'm just gonna pick up just a little teeny tiny bit of white. And I just really want this more gray. And just all that much dark black. And I think You see right here in the center, it also has an area. So it grabs that right there where that meets. Okay. Probably should have been a little bit darker. You know, I can't do straight lines on that. Now, I think what I'm going to do too, really, really quick, is I'm going to pick up that white and right here at the very top of that, I just want to, uh-oh, my dog's fixing to carry on. We got a delivery coming, so.
Oh,
So warning,
oh,
because he sounds so vicious and he's the biggest old baby. I mean, I don't, I mean, I'm sure like, you know, if he thought that I was in harm or something, he would protect me, but man, he is a big old baby. So let me see, what else do we need? I would like to have a hair dryer and dry that and maybe put some more of the rays down.
hmm.
I didn't I mean, I didn't after I done it the last time, but it just seems like I have a lot more in there. I might still be able to do a few. I'm gonna go straight in. This paint, this brush is dry. I'm going into my floating medium. Let me see what I could do. Again, floating medium will make that like really translucent. I don't know why they don't know the front door. It's just a very light touch. I'm just barely touching it. Try not to go over and smear my yellow. Oops, got some red in there. Got a surprise in there. What I can do with that. Smear it right off of there. Okay, then that's pretty much it. Just make sure you sign it. Oh, no, that's not. Here, I did black right here. I actually went on the inside of this jar. Let me show you. And I made it look like it was out here. I went inside like this. A few right through there to make it look like it was laying in some grass and stuff like that. And all different directions there. And then I actually picked up like I sort of made a gray out of that too, not necessarily that black. I actually did. I used a black. It's really dark through there. So I just went all the way through there. I put some on the other side as well. be on this one. Okay. And then I went over here and I just made some like wild grass. You know, we've made this a million times. Just had some of it leaning over here. Okay. Don't forget to sign
Okay.
it. I signed mine in white. You could do your city color. Acrylic inky puddle. Wally Wally. There we go. Like I said, I always like my first one better than I do my second one. I think my lightning bugs may be better because they're going toward the light on here where where this one they were sort of all flying in different like that direction.
Oh,
That's why I said, you know, we can just sit and criticize ourselves to death. I
no,
I know I'm my worst critic, so but anyway, I hope you enjoyed that.
I did. Thank you.
So how far did you get? Did I get like way ahead of you?
Well, I'm putting on my little bugs now, so
Well, okay.
you weren't way ahead of me.
Okay. Well, depending on how many bugs you do too. So I'm just going to stop the recording.
Okay.
That way